You know, I actually gave them some real advice. I said that if you actually say it louder, we've learned in the House of Commons, if you repeat it, if you say it louder, if that is your talking point, people will totally believe it.
Hi, it's John, and welcome to the channel. Thursday, January the 9th at 5:07 a.m. Again with the big blue mug of coffee. Hope you're having a great start to your day. May have broken Godwin's law right off the top of this video. Godwin's law says the longer something is discussed on the internet, the closer you get to talking about Nazi Germany. I started right off the top with this one, but I don't think it's a completely wrong comparison when you talk about what JG did under H, when Catherine McKenna, former environment minister under Trudeau, says in a candid moment in a pub, it looks like, the more you yell it, the louder you yell it, the more people believe it. People will believe pretty much anything, and I think that is the case. And I think that's the case with today's topic, okay? And the topic is going to be climate change and the carbon tax. All right, and the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of this article right here in the National Post. Carbon tax needs to be re-examined now that Trudeau's done, say Liberal MPs. And my head wants to go when I read this. This is from yesterday. I was thinking about this last week prior to Trudeau stepping down. And I was thinking about a leadership campaign. Would there be anybody in a leadership campaign for the Liberals willing to do away with the carbon tax, or at least get rid of the hike that's coming on April 1st? Because right now the timing is this, all right? March 24th, prorogation's over. Some people seem to think we might have a new Liberal leader by that point. It's up in the air right now. We're not sure how that's going to play out. But let's just say on March 24th, we have a new Liberal leader. April 1st, the carbon tax goes up again. Will that leader be wise enough to stand up and say, we're not going to hike the carbon tax on April 1st? Because this has been Pierre Poilievre's big thing, right? Axe the tax. He says it all the time. He talks about housing, he talks about crime, he talks about inflation, talks about cost of living, but axe the tax. I want to have a carbon tax election. That's what he talks about. So will a Liberal actually stand up and admit that this is not good for Canadians? You know, there has been a herd mentality when it comes to Liberals. And I looked at, I know what a herd mentality is, but I wanted to find out a good definition of it. So this is what came up right off the top: the tendency for individuals to think and behave like others in their group rather than individuals. And that's what Liberals are. They have a herd mentality. They don't think for themselves. And it said right off the top, liberal. You can't spell liberal without L-I-N-E. And these people have been lying to you through their herd mentality for years. They listen to Trudeau. They sit there like nodding nabobs behind him. You watch him in the House of Commons. Yes, 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 Justin, you speak the truth. And this is what he's been telling you about the carbon tax for years. Now, incoming Trudeau right now, I know you hate to see him, but I will finish this up with a Pierre Poilievre bit here so you get a little bit of him before the end of this video. This is Trudeau on how you're going to do better with the carbon tax.
The price on pollution puts more money in the pockets out of 8 of 10 Canadian families and fights climate change while building a stronger, more competitive future.
A family of 4 in Alberta is going to receive $1,800 over the coming year with our price on pollution. That is more than the average family will pay with the carbon price.
So there you go. This is what he's been telling you over and over and over again for years. Tell a lie enough, it becomes the truth. Say it loud enough in Parliament. I say it over and over again, it becomes the truth, like Catherine McKenna said. This is what Trudeau does, and Poilievre has been absolutely brutal against the Liberals and has been hammering them. He's got them by the short and curlies on this issue, and finally, Liberals are starting to see the light on this and are changing their mind. But it's interesting, they know they're going to be shown the door, so now they can speak the truth. They've been lying to you about this for years, and this tax goes up every April 1st. Back to the National Post article, carbon tax needs to be re-examined now that Trudeau's done, say Liberal MPs. Now, I'm not going to read this whole article to you because a lot of it at the bottom talks about the people who may be running for the Liberal leadership. But if we move ahead here to a couple of paragraphs, there should be no policy sacred cow, said Marcus Pulowski, who represents the riding of Thunder Bay, Rainy River. Quote, everything should be open to debate. Now he finally sees the light and thinks we should be having a debate about the carbon tax. and it continues to cost you money, and the truth will be revealed in just a moment. Next paragraph. For Atlantic MPs like New Brunswick's Wayne Long and Ken MacDonald of Newfoundland and Labrador, both of whom are not seeking re-election, that's the key here, folks. That means the party being unafraid of distancing itself from Trudeau's legacy of the carbon tax. And if we move down just a little bit, MacDonald, who represents a rural riding, agrees it's time to move on. Quote, "It does make things more expensive regardless of what people say about it." Unquote. People say about it. What Mr. MacDonald, who's been sitting behind Trudeau in the House of Commons for years, has been saying about it. He has been lying to you about this issue. It costs you more money. Will a Liberal leader, a new one, axe the tax? And then Pierre Poilievre is kind of neutered on this issue completely. They finally see the light. I'd like them to rebate us some money for all we've had to spend over the years. Not only do they think that this tax, or have been lying to you about this tax for years, they think you've been stupid about it as well. Listen to this. He nonetheless believes, now this is talking about Kevin Lamoureux, MP from Winnipeg North, he nonetheless believes the Liberals left the policy susceptible to attacks from Poilievre because the government failed to help people understand how it worked, including how it connects to the climate. You don't understand it. You're too stupid to understand how it connects to the climate. Well, folks, it doesn't. You can't just shut off CO2 and change the climate. It ain't going to happen. This is about social engineering. They want to get rid of oil and gas, and they want you to stop driving your car. So you drive up prices so much, so you have to use less. And that's what this is about. That's not the responsibility of the federal government. But this is the big lie, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens on this when it comes to the new leader of the Liberal Party. Now, here is Pierre Poilievre. I'll let him get the last word on this, talking about how the carbon tax affects you and how you're not getting more money back by paying into it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
By the way, this is an appropriate day to ask you because I checked my bank account this morning. I got a couple $100 from Justin Trudeau. And then he will say, well, here's the problem. Pierre Poilievre's going to take that away. That's my carbon rebate. You're going to take that away from me.
He already took it away from you. He took it away from you when you were gassing up your car, when you were buying your groceries with food that was taxed, when the farmer used fuel to produce it, when the trucker used fuel to ship it. He took it away from you when he prevented you from getting that raise you didn't know you might have got, but for the fact that Bell is paying a carbon tax to heat the place. The parliamentary budget officer has demonstrated that 60% of families will pay more in carbon taxes than they get back in rebates. So it's a fraud.